He's a really big man. He's a tall guy, but he's also a very long-armed guy. He's explosive, as you can see on the basketball court. I think the dunk on Twitter shows that type of explosiveness that he has. And then the other thing I really like is he's smart. We got him when we have him on the official visit. I like to get them in and teach them a few concepts, things that we do, and then watch the film and see how quickly they can learn to make the calls. And that stuff was easy for him. It's pretty remarkable when you watch him, how comfortable he looks on a football field for a guy who's not played very much. I really actually didn't know that he had only played 1 year when I watched him. So when they told me that, I was pretty surprised. So a lot of great things that we're excited about getting to work with. We just want to get him here in June and start to work with him.
So one of the things he mentioned was, I think a lot of the tight ends you guys have talked to, have talked about the emphasis on the tight end in this offense.
Yeah.
That's got to be a selling point, I would think.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the good thing is if you go back to when we were at Arizona State, 2012 to 2015, when Coach Norvell was the play caller, and then you go to that was a 4-year span. You go to the next 4-year window in Memphis. There's a history there. There's an actual history of tight ends making a lot of plays, making a lot of big plays, explosive plays, and so it's not really a hard sell at the position. When you're selling something and you're saying, here's what we think we can do, or here's what, that's hard, but when there's an actual history, a historical context, kids can look at it and go, okay, this isn't a dream. They're actually doing this. They're not selling me a dream. Then it makes it. And that was an appealing thing for me to come to this position, because I know how important the role is for our offense to be effective. So it's a great selling point.
You're talking to guys about that when you're recruiting them, but then it's also similar conversation with guys who are on the roster now, and have you seen them maybe respond to that idea too?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because whenever you come into a new program, the current players really never got the recruiting. They weren't recruited by the staff, so they didn't really get the whys of why come to Florida State and be a tight end and play in this offense. So I've actually gone through with my current guys here the recruiting presentation, just to show them really kind of fell into a really good situation at this position for yourself, in your current role. So, it's a deal that a guy can come in and be very successful in that role.
They've been pretty receptive to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they know. I mean, a lot of guys, as soon as a coach gets hired, they do their history. They do their research quickly. Some guys don't. You'd be surprised. Some guys don't care. They just want to play and get in and do what they can do to help the team. But we've gone over that with them, and they are very receptive to it.
What's it been like just recruiting for Florida State now for a couple months?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, I would say that Chuck, our recruiting director, gave me a list of schools to go through in my recruiting area, because this is an area that I haven't spent a lot of time in. And he gave me a stretch of schools to go hit, and one of those was DJ Lundy's school. And so I just happened to go in that school, and the coaches, recommended him, and he was pretty far in with some other schools, some other really good schools. And when you come in that late, you're not really sure if a kid's going to be interested. And when I asked him, would you still be interested, immediately he said yes. And that showed me the power of the brand of Florida State. And then he ends up coming on the visit and signing with us. And so that's just I already kind of knew that, but to see that play out and how strong Florida, and being in the school, the coaches were, really helpful in that process. So everywhere I've gone in my recruiting area, it's like Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. We're so excited you're here. That's cool. That's really cool.
You guys had 3 official visitors this weekend, and you got all 3 of them this late. It says a lot. That
it does. It does. And that's part of the reason why I came here. I was already a really strong program with a lot of ability to sell the product, but to be able to come here and in the area that you're in for players and the ability to sell Florida State is it's a strong brand.
Then the is it Markeston? Is that
Markeston, yeah.
So many basketball players have turned into really good tight ends.
Yeah.
It seems like, I don't know, the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
What is it about, I mean, just athleticism, obviously,
Yeah.
but
Well,
like Jimmy Graham and some of those guys.
I think if you're a guy like Markeston who can get down the floor and do the things he can do and jump and dunk like you saw him do on Twitter, that explosive ability, but typically if you're a forward or that type of player in basketball, you probably have some length about you. And really most tight ends can't separate. I mean, they don't typically just run by people, so the matchup with that kind of length is tough to defend. Because if everything's equal and a guy's running with you, but you've got a 6'5" frame with really, really long arms, and the quarterback can throw a 50-50 ball and you can go up and make that play, that's just a hard matchup for defensive coordinators. So all those things I think are why they translate. And putting your body on people and getting rebounds. I mean, you're always going to be matched as a tight end for the most part. You might come wide open some, this guy here, and you might, you might separate some depending on what kind of guy you are. But a lot of times it's going to be a contested catch, and basketball players are used to doing that, and it's just that one unique position. It seems like translates pretty well for those reasons.